Hello Aquarius, I hope that you're all doing well. We are here with a general and timeless reading. Before we get started, let's set the intention for this to be a space where everyone allows themselves to feel seen and validated, and ultimately for this to be a safe space and a healing space in alignment with everyone's highest good. Okay. It looks like you're in the middle of something here. This can be like moments before action is taken. You could be waiting for something. You could be figuring something out. It looks like it's connected with like what you're trying to manifest currently. So there may have been like a lot of consideration about what this is that you're trying to like cultivate, bring, or create within your life. Speaking of change, we have the Death card. So there can be a focus on a transition right now. You could be preparing for this as well if you're not there yet. This may not feel like the easiest change for you. Like, Death card is not generally like a simple or small or minute change. It's usually something bigger where it's going to, like, your lifestyle is going to be affected in some way. So this can be like a new diet, or it can be you moving, or it can be you switching jobs, or it can be something really big when it comes to your personal growth, or a really big change within a relationship, or with your finances, or with your life purpose. You know, these are like big moments. The major arcanas are always going to point to something that's going to be connected with a broader conversation that's happening. Whatever this transition or change is, where it may be very hard, I feel like you're in the middle of this happening right now. It doesn't feel like before, it doesn't feel like the after. It feels like you're still like riding that wave of this change. We have the Chariot coming out, so you may be like at this point starting to see progress or starting to see success. So if you had an objective, you're beginning to see like confirmations of that objective, okay? You're starting to see something that will like affirm for you that like this is working, that something is changing, that something is happening. Like, you're starting to see that. Chariot suggests that you're not in like the finale energy yet. You're still in the middle of this. But it shows that you've like something is showing you that you're successful right now with this, or that it's working. However it is that you're measuring this. King of Pentacles. This can be a role that you're stepping into. I see the King of Pentacles as being connected with a person feeling that they are independently stepping into a groove that feels right to them. So this can be like with a job, with a career, with any type of role within your life, but it generally has a connection with you and other people or public. This shows also you stepping into a space where you're showing up as being more consistent and more reliable, and also more responsible, accountable. Yeah, I'm hearing accountability. Look at that, the Ace of Swords. Okay, this feels like a moment where something is being solidified for you, where you finally feel like something is official in some sense. I see this as like a hat that you're wearing, okay? So you step into this and you're like, wow, this makes a lot of sense for me to be here and to be in this space. So you'll know this because something feels very clear and something is making sense to you now. Like, whatever had been unconfirmed before has now been confirmed as far as this scenario goes. You may have had to sort of like fight to get into this spot. To have the Chariot and the King of Pentacles coming out after, this can be like a role that you wanted to play, but like you had to make major changes to do this. You also had to move with the flow of things. There would have been like a lot of like metaphorical deaths that you went through. Starting off with having the Death card here, it like shows how you've had to evolve in order to get to this point. So this would feel very significant. This is one of those statements of progress where if you would have looked at yourself like 3 years ago, say, you would have like never imagined that you'd be in the position where you are now. So it's something like that where like because of all of the changes and the growth that you've undergone, you've emerged as something where maybe beforehand, before you saw this, you didn't know if you were capable of doing this, or if you could do this, or if you were willing to, or if it was possible for the situation. So I'm seeing this as feeling very important because you worked for it, like you grew for it, you opened up for it, you allowed yourself to change for it. Not change in a way where you're different than what you were before, but where you're actually more yourself than you were before. So this is also about authenticity. I get this feeling that something is feeling like it fits you very well, whatever this is that you're doing now. All right. It may have been really hard making these transitions because I'm seeing that within the change, there have been lots of things that you've been like mourning and letting go of as well. To have this 5 of Cups here, this means there's a lot of, like, there could have been a lot of disappointments. There could have been a lot of, I thought that I was going to get to here, but I only got to here. Or I thought this was going to be my dream, and now I'm realizing that it's this thing over here. This can also have to do with relationships as well. Like, I thought I was going to be supported by this person, and then I didn't end up getting that support. So there could have been situations where you're kind of mourning these like models and expectations that you had that are no longer aligned with reality, and having to like grieve them in order to release them and let them go and to continue your changing. So I'm seeing that these can also be like severe situations that you've been in too, where you've been like, maybe I didn't necessarily, like my ego didn't want to be in this situation. I recognize that I've grown from it. It was also very hard for me. It was also very difficult. There were a lot of disappointments that were like consistent with this change that I was going through. However, to have the Chariot here, it shows like a really strong sense of perseverance on your end. So there's like so much strength exemplified by your actions in this path here, energetically. I'm seeing you're still at the point where there's some things that you may still be holding on to that you wish. I wish that it were like this. I wish that it were like that, where it's not. And I'm seeing you're still going through the process right now of releasing those things. I'm not seeing it be finished yet. I'm seeing there are still some things that you're holding on to, but I'm seeing you've let go of a lot, and there's going to be still a lot more that you're going to continue letting go of. This is your process, so respect it. This is just how it goes. I will say this too. For some of you that have stepped into a particular position and one that you feel really good within, it may be shedding light on certain people around you. And that may feel disappointing for some reason. Like, certain characters may have come to light, or you could be seeing things that you hadn't been seeing before, or just weren't in a situation where certain things were coming to light, and now that they are, there could be some stuff where you're like, I didn't think it was going to go like that, or I didn't think that person would act like that, stuff like this. But I'm actually seeing you in like more of a position of power here, actually. So there may be stuff going on that's associated with that. Like people's even reactions to you stepping into this energy. And you may be seeing some true colors. I'm seeing disappointment be associated with an opportunity, but I'm seeing actually something better come along after it. This is definitely going to be worth it to you. Initially, okay, so you step into this spot that you've worked really hard for on a personal level. I'm not seeing this be just something superficial. This is something where you've done like the spiritual growth actually to align with like whatever this public position is of yours. Public meaning you're working with other people. Something may have happened recently. Among all of this change that you're going through right now, something could have happened where you felt really let down, really sad, and maybe were like, did it really have to go like that? Could I have done something differently? But like, should I have changed this and that? Like, you know, all of those thoughts that you have after a situation happens that like wasn't the most pleasant situation. It's natural to be looking at it like that and thinking about like, what could I have done to change that? And then coming to the conclusion that there's no amount of thinking is going to be able to change this situation. It is what it is. So I'm seeing you turn around. There's an opportunity that is worth the taking is what I'm hearing. I'm seeing this be something that you want. This is also something that you worked for. But I'm seeing too that if you stayed in this position where you just like stayed sad or stayed disappointed or stayed in a spot, well, this is actually the main point of this. If you would have stayed in this energy where you would have been faced backwards, only looking at the past, you would not have seen this opportunity in the present that became available to you. So that's why it's so important not to turn your back on the present and the future. And you do that when you're focused on the past. So I'm seeing actually something that comes up that is like more than an ideal situation opportunity for you. And this is something where you would feel like it matches your skills set, what you have to offer, like your level of responsibility, what you can undertake, what you bring to the table, all of that stuff. All that and more. This is a prime situation. Which seems like it's what you've been waiting for also. Not just waiting for, but what you've been manifesting, what you've been like planting the seeds for, so to speak. I do get that like through these changes, there could have been a specific opportunity that you felt like you lost out on, but you were not, something else is coming along for you. So just know if that happened, there's something that's going to be much more lucrative. Here's your energy. Wow. Look at you. So there's something becoming very obvious about your sense of purpose here. I'm seeing things like really fall into place, but it has not been easy. I'm seeing this path has been quite difficult. Right now, you may be questioning your purpose. What's interesting to me is that, like, I'm seeing your guides looking at you and be like, you are totally in your purpose right now, but you may be questioning that. You may be not feeling like you're in your purpose, but I'm really seeing that you are. But there may be this part of you that is, like, doubting yourself. That's what I'm seeing this be. Like, you right now may not feel like you're in the most ideal situation, but I'm actually seeing things are, like, perfectly as they're meant to. But I'm seeing a lot of stress that's actually associated with this. I'm seeing 5 of Pentacles, 8 of Swords, 9 of Swords. This is some, like, heavy mental gymnastics that you're going through. There may be something that you're struggling with within your physical life. This can have to do with finances or support or lack thereof. It can be like not physically feeling at your best, or it can just be you doubting something right now. That's what I'm seeing this breakdown into. I'm definitely feeling tension in the throat chakra. Definitely. This is something that's going to need to be cycled through. Even though you may be feeling a bit smushed right now, energetically, like constricted, I feel like a bit of a weight. You want to find a way to get out from underneath it. Because what this feels more than anything is like stuck energy. So you want to do something that feels empowering to you, where you feel like you get that motivation to try to push through something. For some of you, this is going to be physical activity. I know that may seem kind of random, but I'm definitely getting that. Maybe like needing to exert yourself. I don't see this as being anything crazy. It's just something that like brings you back into your body. If you're not already doing that. It will like release endorphins and stuff. I'm getting just like 20 minutes. Could meditate for that time as well. All right, can we go back now? Okay, so here we are as far as what I'm seeing. There are big changes that are happening. Some of them you are responsible for. I'm seeing you be at a point where you're like, this wave is coming and I'm going to ride it rather than resist it, because I know that it's coming regardless. And if I fight it, it's going to be much more unpleasant than if I just roll with it. And even though I don't really know how to ride this particular wave, I'm still just going to roll with it. I'm seeing you've actually, from a zoomed out perspective, you've become more in flow with the changes that happen. I'm seeing that with this change also comes a situation that you still may not be over yet, but I'm seeing you're getting to the point of being over this. When I say over, I don't mean bypass, I mean processing. So this is ultimately something you're going to be able to release. So a change happens, it's inevitable. So this is something where you're like, I don't have control over this. It's happening regardless. Like the universe is so intensely being like, you don't get a choice in this. This is happening, so you might as well buckle up. I'm seeing that there may be certain things where you're like, man, but I wanted this to happen, or I wanted that to happen over there, or I didn't think that it would go this way. You're still processing this. So just give yourself time and remember to face, at least be present, or to face forward. You don't want to be looking back so much that you miss what's coming up for you. I'm seeing that you're going to work through this. It's just a matter of processing it. So this means like, be real with yourself when it comes to the way that you're feeling. Like, don't sweep it under the rug. Do what you need to do to process this. Like, write in your journal, talk to yourself, have a conversation with a friend, listen to music, whatever it is that helps you sit and be in those feelings and be with them so you can validate them, recognize them, and release it. And that's what's going to help you keep moving forward, okay? So give yourself that time that you need to process. Now, I'm seeing as soon as you overcome this, as soon as you face forward, there's an opportunity here for you, okay? I'm looking at the King of Pentacles. This is something where you're like, I have the right credentials to step into this and the resources to match as well. This can be you finally stepping into like a job, a career, or a title, or a role where you're like, I'm being paid enough for that, I feel like I'm valued, or at least it feels very stable to me, or I can build the type of future that I want with it. So with this comes you doing something that you're capable of doing, and you being like rewarded for that thing. 10 of Pentacles is something where, because of this, it allows you to finally feel stable, to feel safe, to feel secure, to feel like this aligns with your expectations of, if I'm going to play a role and offer what I have to give, this is what I hope to receive as far as like resources and stuff like that. Because Pentacles are physical. So you're physically going to be a part of something, and you're physically going to be in a space where you're provided with what you need. This is clarity. This is that moment where you're like, my purpose feels very, very clear to me right now. Now, I'm seeing a bit of a mental struggle here where you could be like questioning things, or questioning like, am I really in alignment? Am I in my purpose? Or is something wrong with this situation or this scenario? But I see it more as self-doubt. Like, I'm seeing actually things have really aligned for you now, Aquarius, and you could be in a spot where you're like, but am I good enough? You know, like those feelings. Am I capable? Like, am I just being delusional, or is this really for me? And it feels like you finally are finding something, you're connecting with something that makes so much sense to you to be doing, so run with it. I'd like to definitely highlight this as well too. If you start doing something and you're like, you know what, I don't like this, or I don't want to do it, then you find something else to do. But it's good to participate and see and experience. And know that just because you're making a choice now, it doesn't mean that you're stuck in that forever. So try it out. I'm hearing something about unicorns. I'm looking at Scorpio, Cancer, and Aquarius. All right, my friends, we are going to leave the reading here. I would like to thank everybody for tuning in. Thank you for connecting. I'm wishing everybody love and light and healing, and I hope to catch you guys next time.